So in Gen V, we're led up to believe that Monroe or Marie Monroe and Homelander are on the same level, or at least they're like the same type of superhero or soup. And frankly, I'm gonna be honest, I honestly believe if they are on the same level in terms of soup, I think Marie Monroe is gonna be or is stronger than Homelander. Now, obviously she's not stronger than him right now, but I honestly think that she will end up being stronger than Homelander. Now, do I think she's going to be the end-all, be-all, the reason why Homelander's defeated or something along those lines? Not totally, right? That's not really what we're going to be talking about in today's video anyways. That's for a totally different conversation as well. But at the same time, I do believe that she will end up being stronger than Homelander. I think for starters, her power type is completely better or so much stronger than Homelander's. Yeah, Homelander is like raw power. You got physical strength, you got flight, laser vision, brute strength, stuff like that. Marie's powers are very specifically designated, and that I honestly believe makes her even stronger than you would think, because she can obviously utilize blood manipulation, and that would just full on counter so many people. And I honestly think that also includes someone like Homelander. I think she'd be able to slow him down, kind of mess with the way his powers work, all that durability that Homelander has. She would be able to control the blood within his body, and basically mess with it. But that's not the end of it when it comes to Marie. We have so much involving Marie, what she's capable of. I mean, the fact that she can legitimately heal. We saw her literally bring somebody back to life. Her kind of attacks and her ability has been restrained for so long. But now we're seeing that there's so much more to Marie. Homelander's powers, they're flashy, but they're straightforward. Marie's, they're surgical. They're precise. There is really an insane amount of versatility to her abilities and what she can truly do in the grand scope of things. Now, on top of that, she doesn't need to really match up with Homelander's physical strength like one-on-one, right? She just needs to find some sort of microscopic weak spot that is somehow revolving around Homelander and turn his own power against him. And that's one thing I truly believe that she could potentially do. And I'm obviously not talking about just a straight up fight with Homelander, but maybe she finds a way to do things with her powers that a lot of us are thinking she can probably get into, and what the characters of Gen V as well think that she'll be able to do as well. I mean, at the end of the day, Kate believes that she can actually get healed by Marie, that Marie can actually heal her and get her powers back. And if that's the case, there's no limit to how strong and how powerful Marie Monroe can really get. Her potential may just be at a level of limitless growth. I mean, we've seen that Homelander is reaching his ceiling. He's already basically at his full power. He's emotionally unstable, and he's really reliant on kind of fear itself. But with Marie still learning and potentially still growing in power at a very rapid rate, by the way. I mean, we've seen it with Dean Cypher, that she was able to, or he was able to get her to kind of level up so quickly. And it's pretty obvious that her blood manipulation could evolve to an even insane extent, right? We could go along the lines of like, oh, maybe she can utilize it over a course of multiple targets, or extract, replace blood, do this. But really, what she can do at the end of the day is revive people, affect different the way superpowers work, or maybe how the superpowers are within someone's body, cure them of the superpowers, aka get rid of the superpowers, or even make the superpowers stronger. But the number one thing, hands down, is the fact that she could potentially get rid of the compound V, but more or less just anything involving like the superpowers and stuff like that, away from the bloodstream entirely. And imagine that. Imagine she finds a way to legitimately get rid of the entirety of kind of what makes a soup and make them human once again. She might be the true key to changing everything, making it so that everybody turns back into what they once were, well, just a normal, typical human. And on top of that, Marie has shown that her kind of emotions and all these things, it just makes her stronger. Marie is a human. That's what she is. She acts like it. She doesn't act like some sort of god. She isn't built up to be some sort of god. Homelander was. And you can kind of take that one way or the other. Like, the idea of Homelander being built up as this kind of godlike figure is more of the issue with the people that were surrounding him, right? A lot of the issues come from the fact that there was a lot of people boosting up the ego of Homelander and all the above. But at the same time, we know Homelander has weaknesses. We saw that Homelander was caught off guard, was hurt, or kind of slowed down via different measures, and we saw it throughout this time. So who's to say that Marie Monroe can't somehow come up with a way to actually affect Homelander? I mean, on top of the fact that, guess what? She can really hide her ability of utilizing her blood manipulation like abilities. I mean, we saw that she doesn't need to stick out her hand, and Dean Cypher brings it up like, you don't need to do that. You're making a joke out of this. The fact that you still put your hand out like you need to do that is ridiculous. It's idiotic. It's kind of slow, and he makes it very, very clear, like, yeah, you don't need to do any of that. Like, that's ridiculous that you're even trying to do that. Ridiculous that you're putting your hand out, and ridiculous at doing anything along those lines, because guess what? You can do it via just straight up being in the moment, straight up understanding your powers and pushing yourself to the limit without even having a physical representation of basically putting her hand out. And like I said, she's very human. So her mental strength makes it so that she's not going to break under pressure. Homelander, he would break under pressure, and not in the way of like he'd just crumble and fall over, but when he breaks under that pressure, his whole sense of pushing forward and getting what he wants and what he desires and what he believes he deserves might just crumble as well. Marie has this drive, right? This moment in that she has something to go for. Homelander doesn't necessarily have your typical thing to go for. What Homelander wants is absolute power. What Homelander wants is for everybody to basically adore him. But the thing is, she doesn't have these things. This isn't a part of her idea, part of her arsenal of things, and her whole mindset of what kind of goes down in the entirety of what she believes is right and what she sees is wrong. Marie doesn't have those things that would break under the pressure. Marie would thrive under that pressure. I mean, she's already faced trauma, rejection, and she kind of still fights to protect anybody and others, right? They are kind of the only people that are semi, like, actual heroic or semi-heroes. Like, these other heroes aren't actual heroes. And Homelander himself has one of the biggest weaknesses you possibly could know, and that is his horrible ego. And at the end of the day, Homelander just wants to be loved. He wants all these people to love, adore him. He wants to maintain that control, maintain that power. But really, these things just could fall in line for Homelander in terms of making things really bad for him and making things go really off the rails. Now, I could see things going a couple ways. Is it going to be as simple as he's gonna, or Marie's going to basically face off with him one-on-one, power versus power? Most likely not. We're most likely not going to get a flat-out, just, straight up 1 versus 1 to the death type of moment. But I will say there's a good chance that she's a part of a final, battle. Maybe not a physical final battle, one where they go legitimately one-on-one, but a final battle in terms of she might be a part of the greater plan, the eventual plan that could take down Homelander. Maybe her ability to mess with the soup gene, or like, you know, her ability to mess with the compound V allows her to truly find a way to deconstruct Homelander, deconstruct his abilities, and also slow him down to an insanely high degree. Maybe even she is kind of like that one person where she holds him back and is able to slow him down and allows for him to be a lot weaker than normal. That could be something that definitely happens as well. I just don't believe that it would be a flat one-on-one, because Marie's powers are so different. In application, they're limitless. Like, the powers are ridiculous. Healing, like, you know, slicing, strangling, controlling enemies, and, you know, controlling those around you, and, you know, manipulating blood, and to a degree of like being able to legitimately like stop people from, you know, doing certain things, and along those lines. I mean, yeah, she's insanely powerful to that extent, but there's a good chance where we kind of get her power in a totally different light. Her power could be, you know, maybe changing all these soups, or the soups that are on the side of the humans, into even more powerful soups. Maybe unlocking all the potential of every single soup that's around so that they can take on Homelander and defeat him. Maybe even her being able to hold back Homelander's abilities, maybe be able to slow him down, maybe be able to legitimately get rid of them. These are things that could potentially happen involving Marie Monroe, and what she can really do in the grand scheme of things in terms of an actual fight. Now, in the terms of, like I said, a power scaling type of thing where they're going one-on-one, I don't think that's where Marie Monroe shines. And I don't think that's where we would get proof that she is stronger than Homelander. But in terms of powers, in terms of abilities, in terms of like hacks and all these things, I honestly think that she would end up being way more potent than Homelander himself. I mean, her abilities and her kind of approach to things and everything else just would allow for him, or allow for Marie, to kind of just change the entire battlefield when it comes to Homelander. Homelander would become a lot more human because of the powers that are being shown, the powers that are being kind of put in front of us. And honestly, what would be also kind of insane, which is kind of going off topic here, is that imagine a world where Marie kind of sees or starts seeing things a little bit differently, because we know power absolutely corrupts. So imagine all that power starts pumping through her veins, no pun intended, because, you know, she legitimately has blood powers, but imagine all that power starts pumping through her veins, and she literally overcomes Homelander himself, and then she ends up thinking, why would I stop here? Why would I give back what the humans have messed up? Why would I give it right back to them so that they can mess it up all over again? Why not put it in my own hands? Why not play God? And that right there would be pretty damn insane. Now, I will say this. I don't see her doing that. It's just not in her personality. But you never know what could happen over the course of time to the eventual end of the Boys series. And, you know, all the above with Gen V. But it seems like they are building her up to be somewhat important, or at least more important than some sort of side character. Maybe she follows into some sort of mission to defeat Homelander and is a big part of defeating Homelander. Now, with that said, I don't think she would be the end game and the end all be all where Marie Monroe is going to be at the very top and standing above all at the end of the story. I don't believe that by any means at all. But she seems to be way stronger than Victoria Newman, and seeing how she also tanked a blast from Homelander, or the laser beams from Homelander and stuff like that, it wouldn't surprise me if she's a part of the eventual kind of build up to a final battle with Homelander, where she proves that Homelander, excuse me, versus her isn't the necessary battle that's going to happen, but her abilities is going to affect how that battle eventually unfolds with the boys and Homelander to an extent that is beyond the imagination. Her powers might push beyond comprehension in terms of taking out Homelander, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of these other soups, like, well, Dean Cypher more specifically, which I'm not too sure he's even a soup, which that I've made a video on that already, but at the same time, I'm not too kind of past the idea that they are all on the side of Homelander in the first place. This could all be building up to an eventual takeover where they get rid of Homelander for good, and that is Marie Monroe's whole goal, is to get rid of Homelander so that they can have even more control over what they want specifically. But here's the thing. When you get rid of Homelander, that means you had somebody powerful enough to do the job, aka Marie Monroe. But if you have that happen and Marie takes over, or Marie gets rid of him, who's to say Marie doesn't follow suit because she's too strong to deal with in the first place? The same issue you had with Homelander, him being way too powerful to control properly. Maybe it happens the exact same thing with Marie Monroe. Now, I'm not too sure about that. That's a little bit out there, overall. But I hope you guys enjoy nonetheless, or enjoyed the video nonetheless. I wanted to hear what you guys had to say, or I would love to hear what you guys have to say about the idea, about the video, about Marie Monroe, and if you believe that she will end up being or is stronger than Homelander. Now, there's multiple ways you can look at that, like I've said in this video, about her being stronger than Homelander, right? And those ideas. But at the same time, you got to kind of look at it like, okay, she might not be physically stronger than Homelander, but she might be stronger than Homelander in terms of impact of what could potentially happen in the storyline of the boys, Gen V, and everything in between. But with that said, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, YouTube believes you'll enjoy this one, so might as well go check it out.